Last week I posted this photo on different social media, and I received a lot of questions about how I took the photo, how I edited this photo, so I thought, let's make a video about it. So if you are interested in landscape photography, long exposure photography, or photography in general, and you want to know more about this, sit back, relax, and for the next few minutes, just enjoy this video. Welcome to my channel. Here I post my travel short films, but I also make videos, just like this one, where I share some quick and easy photography and filmmaking tips that everybody can follow. So if you're here for the first time, it might be a good idea to subscribe. Some of you might know that besides making videos, I am mainly a fine art landscape photographer, which basically means that my landscape photographs are more an interpretation of a place than a description, as I try to capture the mood or the state of mind that I am in that specific moment. I mentioned before that I've recently been to New Zealand, and if you are a photographer and you are in New Zealand, you want and you have to go to see the Wanaka Tree. This tree is so famous that it has its own hashtag, Wanaka Tree. But when a place has been photographed so many times, it gets really hard to be original and find a unique composition. But nevertheless, since I was in Wanaka for one night, I had to have a photography session with the tree. I usually like to get on location early, as I need to scout around the spot, search for the right composition, and be ready when the light is right. So I set up my alarm, I got up, and I went. But as I got to the lake, even if it was 40 minutes before sunrise, I realized that I had completely underestimated how popular this tree is. Trust me, I did expect to find other photographers, but not so many and not so early. It was panic, as I didn't really have a lot of options of where to place my tripod, so I had immediately decided to secure a spot and try to do the best with it. I also placed my second camera and set up this time-lapse. The spot is okay, but I don't know, I don't feel the composition is right. I still take a bunch of images, including this one for my Lady in Red series, but I feel I need to do something different. So I take the risk of leaving this spot. So I walk fast, I keep my eyes on the tree, and I quickly realize that the only way to find a composition that I liked and be able not to have any other photographers in front of me and inside my shot, or to be in someone else's shot, was to move far away from the tree and to use a zoom lens, which I rarely do. Most of my images, in fact, are taken with a 20mm lens. So I set up my tripod in the water, no photographers behind me, and I really like what I see. There's a beautiful light, zero wind, and the sun is literally painting the tree leaves in a delicate yellow. It's beautiful. I'm really happy now. And I also at peace. I know there is possibly another 50, 60 tripods somewhere, but I ignore them. I can only see and focus on my composition. Because I shoot in RAW, every single image needs to be developed in Lightroom. So let's have a look at how I edit this photo. Alright, as you can see, this is my image straight out of the camera. It is a 658 seconds exposure,
I got very lucky that my leaves are not moving. You can see some blur just at the bottom here because I think the water is moving this branch, and so here we have some little movements, but the rest is very still because there is no wind whatsoever, so I got really lucky. Said so, the image is super flat because it's shot in RAW, and so I will show you right now my workflow to fix and adjust this image to my liking. The very first thing I want to do to this image is that this little buoy represents a distraction for me. So with the spot removal, I can quickly get rid of it. And this is done. Z, to go back to the full image, I will open the 𝗠𝗠𝗂 panel, and the very first thing that I want to do is to adjust the profile. With the latest software update, Lightroom gives us the possibility to see the image just hovering over different color profile, and I find that Adobe Color is the profile that I prefer to use. So, as I mentioned, this image is shot with a neutral density filter, which often will give a blue color cast to the images. So a main thing to do in any long exposure is to fix the white balance, and we can do that using this tool and searching for a neutral gray that will warm up the image and get rid of the blue cast. I think we went a little too far. The temperature is 7,900 and I want to bring it down a little bit. I can also fix the tint a tiny bit. And the next thing I want to do is bring down the highlights a little bit, increase the shadows at the same time. Maybe that was a little too much. In order to move the histogram a little more to the right, I will bring up the whites, and in order to move it to the left as well, I will bring down the blacks. And now I think I can work on the exposure. I want a little more exposure and a little less contrast. I will also decrease the clarity I'm searching for a very ethereal look, but at the same time I will bring up the dehaze. This looks good to me. I want a little bit of vibrance and a little bit of saturation, maybe a little less. I think the image is already looking much better. We can see already with just a few adjustments on the basic panel, the before and after is encouraging. You can also see that my histogram looks better. He's a little wider, and but I will close the basic panel for now, and I want to use a medium contrast for my tone curve, and I will then move to the detail. Basically here I will work on the sharpening. I will not increase the sharpening, and actually I will decrease the radius of my sharpening. Usually 0.7 or 0.8 is what I like to use. Another thing I will do is that I will make sure that the sharpening will not affect the water and the sky. To do that, I will apply a little mask, and by holding Option and clicking into the mask, I can see that where the mask will be applied. Basically everything that is white will be sharpened and everything that is black will not be touched. The image looks already much better, but I want to do something else. I want to apply specific adjustments just to the bottom part of the image. To do so, I will use this gradient filter, and I will apply this to the bottom of my image. So what I want to do is that I want to have a little more light in the bottom of my image to add this ethereal look. So I will increase the exposure a little bit. I will increase my shadows as well, not by much. And then I want to decrease the clarity to give this really very ethereal look. I can see the difference with this adjustment is very subtle, but it's there. Another local adjustment that I want to make is related to the tree. I will use this round mask in order to cover the tree and its reflection. So now that I have the right mask, you will see that if I make any adjustment, it will be applied to the outside of the mask. But this is not what I want. So I will need to invert the mask because I want to apply the adjustments inside. And what I will do is that I will decrease the highlights. I will increase the whites and the clarity. I will add a little bit of the haze and also a little bit of saturation and sharpening. And I will move to the very last adjustment, which is in the effect panel, where I will add a little bit of vignetting, changing the midpoint, the roundness, and also the feather. So this is my final image. As you can see, it didn't take very long, but the difference is remarkable. What do you think?
And this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did and you want to make sure that I know, you can leave me a like or a comment. Also, maybe this is the right time to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.